That's my loving man. Have another one, my loving man.
I mean,
Hey, loving man, you've been called.
oops.
What is that now? The 12 hands in a row holiday? Son of a bitch, nobody's that lucky.
Why, Ike, whatever do you mean?
Take it easy, boys.
Maybe poker's just not your game, Ike. I know. Let's have a spelling contest. How about if I just ring your sternly down?
What is going on, movie lovers, and welcome back to another episode of 5 on It. On today's episode, we are reviewing a cult classic, a movie that is based on a true story, a very old true story, a movie that is set in the West, and we're not talking Feifel Goes West. Today, we are talking about the 1993 classic Tombstone. But before we go any further into that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, help out a couple of movie lovers. Don't forget to hit that like, a share, a comment. Maybe drop some of your favorite Western dramas of all time. I'm sure a lot of people put this up in the list. I mean, this is a first-time watch for me because I've definitely heard a lot of good things about this movie. So we will see if I agree with the masses. But, Sir Fraser? Tell the people about Tombstone.
Man, so this movie, man, is really a great example of a project that almost didn't lift the ground. It almost didn't even get made.
Really?
Yeah. This movie was written by Kevin Jarre. He was also the initial director, but he wrote Glory. This guy has some very interesting luck, man. He garnishes praise and success for writing Glory. He has it in his heart that he wants to do a screenplay for Bram Stoker's Dracula. He's working on this script, and lo and behold, Ford Coppola's version with Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, and Keanu Reeves is already out the window. Is already out there. So he's like, oh man, I got to pivot now. So he has this ambition to do a story about Wyatt Earp and Tombstone, and he produces a really well-respected, well-written script that did require rewrites. But he's working on this script. Kevin Costner is the actor that he has in mind.
Probably because of Dances with Wolves too.
Well, yeah, he has Kevin Costner in mind. Kevin Costner is interested in doing this. They have creative differences about what they want the story to focus on. He leaves the project. He ends up doing Wyatt Earp. That comes out literally less than a year after Tombstone, which is dropped in December, I think, the year before. And so you got these two projects that are literally about the main similar characters, both westerns, trying to kind of beat the other, to get this movie out there. And lo and behold, like there's rumors about Kevin Costner trying to like sabotage and
petty,
trying to derail this project. And this project had a lot of pressure on its shoulders. The screenwriter Kevin Jarre. This was his first director. This is his directorial debut, and a lot of people. I mean, he just couldn't. They ended up firing him. He was behind schedule. He didn't have a lot of time to record, and so they're trying to. They bring in another director who is immediately just completely wearing on the cast, being very disrespectful. Michael Biehn's on the record about talking. Is it Michael Biehn, right?
Yeah.
Michael Biehn is on the record talking about how this dude was just a prick and would talk about, hey, tell her with the big tits to step forward. Just saying, just like,
God damn.
Shit, right? There's like, he's literally, I was reading an article, an interview, and he had nothing but bad things to say about him, how he was condescending and rude to people below him while kissing ass to people above him. So like, in comes like Kurt Russell to really kind of help save the day. He's kind of helping pare down Jarre's original screenplay and kind of trying to help focus it. while also getting it shot. And basically, like the rumor, it's kind of one of those stories where, yes, it says that Cosmatos is the director, but Kurt Russell and a few other key players were really involved with making sure that this project was actually shot and done. And like,
damn,
yeah, dude. So it's like fascinating history between like just from a production like behind the camera side. Like, dude, even the fucking director who's attached to this, George Cosmatos, he ends up like the cinematographer and him are going at it. The cinematographer quits multiple times. Like, this is a fucking shit show is what I'm trying to say.
Jesus Christ.
Still, they are able to produce one of the best westerns I've ever seen. Like, this movie reminded me of, I don't know, I'm curious if some of this, I want to say this and I really want to see your thoughts about this. Like, I think for me, one of the things that I'm realizing as I'm getting older is how much I actually love westerns. Three of my favorite movies of all time are westerns in one shade or another, whether it's whether it's the revisionist western in Django Unchained, or the neo-western in No Country for Old Men. Like, I love westerns.
Yeah, but
I'm not really big on like the John Wayne era. I'm more of like 3:10 to Yuma. That's a great movie.
I was right about to say, like, man, I mean,
Harley Fall was a good movie.
We will get to my score by the end of this, but if we're talking about just westerns, there are a few that I will take above it. Just like you mentioned, a No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, for sure. No question.
Even I haven't seen True Grit in a while, so I'm not sure how well that will hold up. But even like what you mentioned, like a Django Unchained, 3:10 to Yuma, but
Hateful Eight is another one that a lot of people love.
Damn, I see like people even mention like Sicario, a Logan, The Revenant. Man, some of those movies, I'm like, man, I do put it above Tombstone. Even after watching this, like, is it a bad movie? Of course not. But I think it was a little bit disappointing. At least the first half of the movie. I felt like once Sam Elliott's character Virgil, once he puts up the rules, the new law about carrying guns, which I also found a little funny because he's just like, I'm not telling you can't carry your gun. You just can't carry it in city limits. I'm like, look around, Virgil. Yeah. There's not much more than what's around here right now. Yeah. Like, this is it. So what are you talking about? I can either carry my gun. I can't carry my gun here around town. But when I go out there into the middle of nowhere, then I'm allowed to have it.
Well,
but the movie definitely, I feel like once that happened, then you get the famous the shootout, which is like this movie's based all around like the true events and everything. It definitely picked up because then the brothers start getting picked off and everything, and then you get the showdown with Doc and Ringo at the end. So it definitely picked up like once like the new law by Virgil's character put up, but it was a little bit on the slower side for me, just watching it.
That's interesting here because I had the exact opposite response. You know, first of all, I love you talked about Sam Elliott, and I'll use that to springboard to a broader point in that there is no bad casting in this movie.
No.
I love the casting choice for every one of these actors. My 4 favorite performances in this movie are in order are Val Kilmer,
number 1
as Doc Holliday. Number 2 would be Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Powles Booth as
Curly Bill,
and then probably Michael Biehn as Ringo.
Yeah.
I mean, the casting in this movie is so good, and I love the way the frame that we have at the beginning. Even fucking Stephen Lang.
Oh, dude, I was right about to say. I was like, I gotta give Stephen.
He is excellent.
Dude, because he fucking
Hands don't go around here, law dog.
He doesn't get killed on screen. No. You have to hear about him through the narrator at the end. But it's just kind of funny how because he's honestly probably arguably more of the wildest one of the group. I mean, Michael Biehn is like the more of like the intimidator. Like he's like this like the heavy hand.
Stoic almost.
Yeah, and Powers is kind of like he's the leader, but he's just a little bit loose and crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's crazy, but like fucking Ike, played by Stephen Lang. I mean, his name is just very appropriate as well with Ike. But he delivered like a pretty great performance because just like how he's just trying to survive because he just talks all this shit, and then when the guns come out, he's like everybody. He's like back up. He ain't lying. He's going to kill me because that's what Wyatt Earp puts the gun to his head. And he's like, yeah, your boys will get me, but
Like
not
if I
before
turn your
I
head into a canoe.
yeah, exactly. And so, and then when he's getting chased off with the by the horses at the end, and he throws his red rag, signaling like he's just giving up.
Done.
Dude,
He's retired.
He's just like he's just trying to survive by any
Yeah.
means. Like he talks a big game, but then once he's
He
backed into a
folds.
corner, he will fold like an old lawn chair. So again, definitely some honorable mention at least to him. But I definitely probably agree with those best performances.
Well, for me, man, I think one of the things that I love about this movie is just the initial framing, where they're telling us that this part of the country, the West, like Tombstone has become a boomtown, as kind of like the 49ers gold rush, right? People are trying to strike oil, just trying to get paid, really exploit the land, and you see the greed and the lawlessness. But when they talk about like parts of the West having murder rates higher than modern Los Angeles and New York City at that time in 1994.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they were shooting in 93. It was released in 93, so they probably So I mean, like 93, that like inner city was rough,
dude.
Like to me, for the murder rate to be as high as those two uniquely violent cities at certain parts in the early 90s. That's
when the population is like vastly different
Yes.
too, dude.
And
Because
bigger.
like when you see when Wyatt Earp and the brothers like they pull up and they meet up with Doc Holliday, and then all of a sudden you hear like gunshots and they turn around and they see just like some commotion. They see this dude end up getting shot and everything. It's just so kind of like just blasé because they're just like, all right. Got to hand over them guns.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, obviously you got to stand your trial and everything, but it's like, it's such
it
a
was so
crazy
normalized.
time, man.
It's insane how normalized gunfighting was.
Yeah, that would be, obviously it's a completely different time, like over 100 some odd years ago, whatever it was. But it's like, dude, when you get to when you just kill somebody like that, if that happened today, you're just like, you just kill somebody, just shoot him in the head, and then the cop pulls up, he's like, all right, hand me the gun, and don't even arrest him, just like, we'll stand trial eventually, see ya. It's like it's just
It's
nuts,
unconscionable.
man.
You can't even. Exactly. But I mean, I love I think one of the things that this movie does effectively in the first 30 minutes is it introduces us to the threat of this movie, the threat that we will the Cowboys, who we will come to understand are the threat of this movie, in this really just barbaric scene where they kill the sheriff as him and his these newlyweds leave the church. They drag her into the back of the church after they kill everyone, and you know what's happening there. Mm-hmm. It's just a really just disgusting, barbaric scene, man. And we just understand the kind of the lack of morals and morality we see with these guys. And then it also gives us that great line that we come to see will represent Wyatt Earp's character when he says, behold the pale horse, and right on with it was death,
Yeah.
and hell followed with him.
That's Wyatt Earp.
That's Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
And the way that we transition to the Earps arriving by train, and we're kind of understanding what it is that these Earps, especially Wyatt, is trying to establish, which is one, to live together as a family. He's clearly running or trying to escape the guilt that he has from killing that man. So I thought that they did a good job of giving us layers to these characters. They don't feel one-dimensional.
Yeah.
We get details about his relationship with Maddie, right? Or I think Maddie's her name. His wife, right? Or his bride.
The one that he's married to.
On the opiates.
Yeah. That's all drugged up.
You're seeing the tension there, and then from that we immediately pay to our next main character, which is Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
And I just love the build up and introduction to all these characters because I feel invested. I'm invested in the Cowboys. I understand these are a threat. These motherfuckers are insane.
Dude, that's it's very Infinity War-esque, if you would say, because you're
jumps around?
no, it's just Infinity War starts off with introducing you to the antagonist and showing you what kind of threat this person is. So anytime a movie begins like that nowadays, I always think of just Infinity War because it's just such a kick-ass way to start a movie. And it's no exception here when you're seeing the Cowboys and everything do all those heinous things. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. So I was like, okay, so these are our antagonists, these are the villains, so let's see how it plays out. But it's just also kind of odd to just seeing how like when they all arrive like in this place, and and they're all just kind of gambling, like they're all just kind of being a little bit social with one another, and it's just like, man, how is this shit just gonna get popping off? Because it's like you guys just can't be sitting here just gambling with one another, just drinking. Obviously you're not buddies, but it's like, how are we gonna get this how are we going to get this cooking? So I was interested to see like how like the ball was going to get rolling with this battle, because I'm like, you guys just aren't going to sing Kumbaya.
No. And I think that there are moments that really they're building on the tension continuously, right? Because I think it's the marshal, the older man who gets killed.
Yeah.
The marshal kind of lays out to the Earps that, the Cowboys are kind of the law around here, they're good for business. They bring a lot of trouble, but they're good for business.
They bring trouble, but they bring money.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of gives us the lay of like the role these Cowboys play in this community. But when the actor group arrives,
Billy Zane.
I feel like that's where you're starting to kind of amp up the tension, and I think that also that story of the Faust, I think is also. I feel like that kind of ties in to the dilemma that Virgil begins to feel.
Yeah.
Like, I'm selling my soul by leeching off of these people when I know that they're suffering.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like he is the person that breaks morally because he can't stand to do to these people what the Cowboys are doing.
Well, that's why he's the first one to like do something.
Exactly. So
and he's the oldest. Like, I'm guessing he's the oldest brother. And it goes him, then Wyatt Earp, and then Bill Paxton's character, Morgan. Yeah, Morgan. So like obviously he's taken upon himself to like finally do something, especially after that conversation they had with, I'm not sure what his name is, but that one guy was like, yeah, you go ahead and you guys just sit here and play your games while other people are suffering. And then he ends up leaving. Yeah.
Like the mayor, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's when you see kind of Virgil's kind of like thinking about it a little bit.
I can't. He starts to crack.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that moment right there, I think that offers a kind of like it shows kind of again how unruly the Cowboys can be, but it also I think kind of serves to kind of tell like the dilemma that Virgil eventually comes, and also further connects Wyatt and that actress.
Yeah.
But the next scene we get, which really amps the tension even more than anything up to that point, is the kind of showdown between when Curly Bill introduces himself.
Well, it's just still building at this moment too.
Yeah, Curly Bill. Wilkes Booth, that actor,
Powers Booth.
Powers Booth. He owns every scene he's in.
Dude,
he's a great villain. Even in Sin City.
I was right about to say, I'm like, when I see Powers Booth, I can't help but think of him in Sin City just because of just like how like he's presented, especially in the black and white and stuff. And his voice is so menacing and too. But seeing him and just like the smile that he has.
Kind of evil, carefree.
Yeah, exactly. So like just seeing him and like Ringo and Doc Holliday kind of having like the face off like early on, which sets the stage for like their final moments together.
Yes.
He's like, we got to finish the game we started, which you could see it in Ringo's face where he's like, fuck,
yeah,
I didn't want you.
Yeah, he didn't expect that.
Which is also shows you like how capable Doc Holliday's reputation is and how he is, because from the moment you see him, he's already sick.
You know he's a deadly man though.
Yeah,
he's dying.
But he's like he's on death's doorstep walking around. It's like it's only going to be a matter of time before he's gone. But nobody still will fuck with him because even when I can't remember exactly which character it was, but one of them tries to try him and he pulls out the knife and he's like, "Shit, you're so drunk, you probably see two of me." And then he pulls out the other pistol. He's like, "Well, looks like I got two for two of you." It's
one
such
for each of you.
Dude, yeah, one for each of you, bro. It's such a cold line too. Like Bill Paxton's performance as not Bill Paxton, Val Kilmer, excuse me, as Doc Holliday is like arguably one of the shining moments. But I just want to just quickly, obviously you mentioned the cast, but I was just like looking at it too, man. It's like, obviously you got your cover boys with Val, Kurt, Sam Elliott, which I feel like Sam Elliott's been old forever. He's like Morgan. He's the white Morgan Freeman. Dude, that dude's been old forever. And Bill Paxton. But then you dive further into the cast, and like you said, you got Michael Biehn. You have Powers Booth, Billy Zane. Bro, I didn't even recognize Billy Bob Thornton until I heard his voice, and I'm like, wait a minute. That's Fat Billy Bob. What are we doing here?
And he gives him a great line. He said, "You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?"
Dude, yeah, I was like, ooh. I was like, bro, even if I know I'm about to get my ass whooped, I got to do something. I can't get punked like
He
that.
said, "All right, youngster, out you go."
Dude, and then you also have Stephen Lang, Billy Zane, Thomas Hayden Church, and then you got fucking Michael Rooker. I didn't even recognize him at first until I was like, wait a minute, that's Yondu. What the hell is he doing up in this fucking thing? Dude, the cast of this movie is just star-studded. They are like, you got to get to the like damn near the third row of actors before you find anybody you don't recognize. So
Great casting.
I mean, Val Kilmer shines the brightest, I feel like, in this movie, but the whole cast deserves their flowers.
Well, that scene though, I mean, leads really well up to the highlight where Ringo, shows how good he is with the pistol. Like that scene was good. But
Oh my God!
But the camera work in this scene. This is something. This is something I meant to mention earlier. I love the camera work in that scene where you see after Ringo holsters his gun, Kurt looks at Doc, Ringo's looking at Doc. Curly Bill is looking at him, and you get these close-ups on all of their eyes.
Yeah, I love
And
those
it's
shots.
So tense.
Yeah.
And then he starts doing it with
The cup.
fucking little shot glass,
Yeah.
shot cup he has, and everybody is just it's so tense.
Yeah, dude.
And while even Curly Bill starts laughing and he
Yeah.
pats Ringo on the back,
Yeah.
and everybody's like bravo afterwards. That's such a great scene in building tension, and the cinematography in that is well done. And that, to a broader point, I love Western. I think one of the things I love about Westerns is they show us the landscape is a feature, right? They show us this barren, beautiful, but dangerous land.
Yeah.
A very unforgiving land.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the best things I love about this genre, and I think there's really strong elements of that even in this movie.
Man, we mentioned Wyatt Earp and obviously his wife. That's all drugged up throughout this movie. But you could tell, like, once what's her name? Is it Josephine? Once she comes into the picture, obviously it seems like they have some sort of history or something like that. Because
I think it's just attraction.
is it just initial attraction? I thought like it felt like they almost had like some sort of like type of
It
history.
definitely had some kind of connection.
But like I thought it was like, it's not like, I'm not gonna say like a big highlight or anything like that. It was just like a subtle kind of funny moment when I want to say is it Doc Holliday or Bill Paxton? I can't remember that, but they're talking to Wyatt Earp about Josephine, and then that's when he's like, "Oh yeah, so if was it Doc?"
Yeah.
He's like, "So if she just comes strolling on in here right now, you're just gonna ignore her?" He's like, "I'm gonna ignore her," and then she just comes strolling on in there.
Good writing,
It's
man.
great writing, great timing,
Yeah.
and then obviously you see his face. It just goes from like smiling, jovial to just, oh shit, she's here.
Yeah.
She's actually here.
That's a good point, because that is another layer of tension in that whole scene, right? Because we have the showdown between Doc and Ringo, but even before that, we see the tension and inner conflict with him towards her,
Yeah.
and
Because that is still like a little, like, I mean, it's a subplot, but it is still like a plot
No, it
line
is.
between
I mean,
him
that's how it ends.
and
It
like
ends with
his.
him going back to her.
Exactly. It's like the love triangle sort of thing, but like you obviously see like there's some sort of like connection between those two. And even when they like had that meetup on the horses and everything like that, it's
Yeah.
like you just know it's like something's going on here, and your drugged up
Very
wife is just gonna have to just take it, man. Just send her on her way, send her packing, man. But
Well, I was gonna say, man, this movie is really rich with great action sequences. Like, I love the scene of Wild Bill where he's shooting at the moon and howling. Like, another highlight of his acting in this movie, when he shoots the marshal and the standoff between Wyatt, Ike, and the other cowboys. Man,
Yeah.
that's such a good scene. The dialogue, the scripts, the dialogue throughout this movie is really strong. But I mean, we go from there to Virgil and Ike having their interaction, like they kind of escalating when Doc's like, "I know, let's have a spelling contest." He's such a fucking prick, and like all of these scenes like are just becoming. The tension is getting ramped up more and more until we finally get the OK Corral shootout, which in itself is just an easy highlight for me.
Yeah.
The camera work again, where you're seeing all the guys' eyes. And then when fucking Doc winks at that one dude, and you see the shift change, and Wyatt's like, "Oh my god!"
Like, oh shit.
Fuck, it just got real.
Dude, man, it felt kind of weird though. Like after, I mean, that was obviously it's a huge highlight. That's what this movie's based on. That big shootout and everything, and a bunch of people got shot up on the other side.
Yeah.
But it felt like for a minute, I was like, is the town kind of almost like
They're just waiting.
but no, like they shot him and everything, and then after the aftermath, it almost felt like because like what's that one dude? He has like glasses and he had like a little mustache. He looked like a white dude, and he was talking with.
Was he the friends with the Cowboys?
I think so.
Oh yeah, talking about was it Jamie Presley that played him? The guy from 90210? Jason Presley.
Yeah.
Priestley.
And it's just like at first I was like, wait a minute, like why is there? It feels like they were like turning on like the Earp gang and everything like that because like they killed some of those cowboys. I was like, I thought all y'all hated these cowboys, but
For business.
I know. But then like once they like obviously like when he has his little moment with Josephine and she's just like, you guys shot like Billy Zane's character's dead, and it's just like you're was like well
later,
yeah, and they're trying to like he's trying to comfort her. He's like, why do you guys even care? These are your buddies. Your buddies are the ones that like did this shit, so this is all your fucking fault and everything.
Oh, when she said that to the sheriff, was it the sheriff, the one who was kind of like weaseling, kind of buddy with?
Yeah, exactly. And so like it just felt kind of like odd at first. I was like, wait a minute, like are these people like? Do they want the Cowboys to stick around? I was like, y'all should be happy that they're like exterminating these dudes. But like, yeah, just seeing that scene, that was definitely a highlight of the film, though.
Oh yeah, I mean even the montage when I mean first of all like the death of Morgan.
Oh man,
Yeah, that was a tough scene, man.
dude, they utilize slow motion just like twice. I want to say twice in this film. Is when Morgan's death. It just like it slows down just slightly, like when he gets shot in the back.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! And then like
The shootout in the creek.
bro, I did not need that part when he's just like
No.
I was
Yeah,
here we go.
moment, yeah, I think that. But you know what though? That's actually based on truth. Like it was actually said that was how Curly Bill died. Like they had a one-on-one shoot. I think that's actually like the reports that have been pieced together over time. That actually is rooted in some historical accuracy.
Oh wow.
And now, and obviously not the slow motion. But,
Yeah, that part just felt like I was like, you guys didn't really need it. I mean, maybe they have different cuts of it, and like maybe the slow motion fits a little better, but that just felt a little jarring. I was like,
felt a little forced. It definitely did. Rewatching that, I'm with you. I was not a fan.
yeah, there's not many like what the fuck moments like that are happening in this movie like that will take you out of it. But I think that's probably the only one where I was like, wait, that's
Slow motion really doesn't work for me. I guess outside of sports movies.
or even just like like
Matrix.
I guess well I was gonna say like maybe these like these movies that are set in a particular time, especially like olden times, but then I was like, well, they did that in 300 and it worked in that, so it's like I don't know, but
war scenes, I can see that.
yeah, but that's like a really like a action heavy battle like type of movie. I don't know, but maybe it just didn't really fit too much. You could have just taken out those slow motion scenes. But another thing too is like just an overall highlight of the film is just how it's filmed itself, how it's presented, because you can. I mean, granted, when you were looking at it, it was filmed in the 90s. It came out in 93, but like when you're kind of looking at it, I was feel like, man. This movie feels like some of those old Western movies that like my grandma used to watch. I would poke my head in and see her watching some movie, and I'm like, damn, that looks old. And like when I'm kind of looking at this, I'm like, damn, this feels like an older movie, but that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that when I hear that, I think that's a compliment to the design. People
Exactly.
Because I read that some of these they were wearing heavy fabrics, and
Yeah.
this was filmed in Arizona, and it's hot as hell. And I'm sure some of them had fucking heat stroke.
You're like, Val Kilmer wasn't playing. That's what he was just
he was
really.
actually sweating.
That's what he was really looking like. He was dead.
He was actually sweating because of the heat and the fabrics they were wearing.
Oh, I don't doubt, because I mean they were just wearing layers. The costumes are on point. The set
yeah.
design, like how they're filming, like I said,
I think it was European made too, which also kind of added to it almost looked a little bit more refined than what I think of you typically see in westerns. So you think about like a lot of the older westerns, they were a little bit darker. These towns were pretty run down.
Oh,
You know, whereas Tombstone, you actually sense that this is okay. There's a lot of commerce. There's a lot of money happening here.
yeah.
You see, like the opium den,
Dude,
out in the open.
You want to know what something that kind of like actually like it's not a negative, but it took me out where I was like, wait a minute, that's weird. Is like when you get to these like movies that takes place in like anytime in like the 1800s, dental work wasn't very prevalent.
No.
So I saw Thomas Hayden Church's character, and I'm like, man, that dude has some great looking teeth right now. I'm like, bro, what year is this? This motherfucker ain't gonna have those pearly, straight ass, white ass teeth. Get the fuck out of here. That was just something that was like, man, I guess they're like, we can't hide it. I'm like, you guys should have gave him some black licorice or something. Fuck up the teeth a little bit. That's just something that just kind of like with period pieces, like movies like this, that's like really old.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just a little touch where I just feel like it just, when you do it, I'm just like, that's a great detail. And when you miss it, it's not a bad thing, but it's just like, come on, you could have went the extra mile to just like, I mean, it's not like he's sitting there smiling and everything. I just kind of noticed it. I was like, wait a minute, his teeth look white as fuck right now.
I noticed with some of the Cowboys, they looked a little bit run down. Like one of them had seemed like he had some discoloration.
Yeah. Some people had it.
Looked pretty rough.
Even like a Powers Booth, where I didn't really, like, he was really smiling, but I didn't really notice like him having like great teeth. It was just Thomas Hayden Church that were like, there was a moment where it just boom, it just stands out so much where I'm like, damn, he's got some great looking teeth right now. But his teeth wouldn't look like that in no 18 whatever the fuck it happened, like 1886 or some shit.
Yeah,
I'm just like nah. But it's not a huge negative. It's just something that I just noticed.
Well, I think the shootout with Doc and Rango. I mean, I spoke a lot on the action sequences and how effective I think they largely were. I like the dialogue with Curly Bill when they're at the creek. And he said, "Hey there, Wyatt."
When they're all pinned in.
He has them like pinned in, and he's just laughing as bullets are flying even towards him. That character, man, he owned all the screen time he was in, and when he died, we kind of shift gears because I feel like by that point they really had the Cowboys on the ropes.
Yeah,
so the action montage of them like gunning, like breaking through windows.
Well, that's why like
gunning down the Cowboys.
I kind of wish the movie would have ended with the Doc Holliday and Ringo standoff. Because after that standoff, then they go and they kind of finish the job, and then they kill off the rest of the Cowboys, and they chase down Ike and everything like that. And then you get the ending scenes with Holiday at the hospital and everything. Man, part of me was like, man, I kind of wish the movie would have they would have rounded everybody up, and then like Ringo's just the last one standing. And it's just him and Doc Holliday having their little face off. It's just, like I said, it's not a negative or anything, but it was just like, man, I kind of wish they would have reversed it a little bit.
It's interesting you say that because I read that they initially considered having it end after they killed the Cowboys, but they thought that was a little bit too bleak of an ending point, and so they incorporated, they decided to end it on, the sequence where they did with him reuniting with Josephine. But one of the things that I did like about him visiting Doc at that point, I think this movie is really, one of the places that it really excels is the friendship between Doc and Wyatt. That's a big highlight in and of itself because and Doc says it to him. When I think it's one of the other guys, one of the other writers who are killing off the Cowboys. He says, "I got plenty of friends. Why the hell are you out here doing this, Doc? You should be in bed." And he's like, "I don't have a lot of friends."
He's like,
hell, I got. He's like, why?
Why are you like out here doing all this for? He's like, he's my friend. He's like,
I got plenty of friends.
And I got plenty of friends. He's like, I don't.
Yeah.
And it's like that's like just a line and like a scene where it's like you said, it just encapsulates like their friendship and how far they're willing to go for one another. Especially Doc willing to go far for Wyatt,
who's literally dying.
Yeah, dude, like he ends up like getting Ringo for him, and even when like Virgil and Morgan were like, where it's like pretty much separating from Wyatt, and like they're gonna go do their thing, and then he's just like, Wyatt looks at looks at Doc and he's like, "This isn't part of your fight," and everything like that. And he's like, "How dare you like say something like shit that like to me and everything." It just kind of shows you just like he's just obviously White's trying to protect him and everything, but it's like he's gonna ride for you. And man, if you need somebody to go into a fight, man, Doc is the one you want, man, because even on his deathbed, he's gonna come ready to go. And it almost like. It's not anticlimactic, but it's like, damn, I kind of wish they would have like maybe drug it out, because Michael Biehn does this really good job of Ringo and playing like this intimidating. I was like, I wish they would have just given us a little more, because those two was playing off each other so well, and it just felt like it happened so fast. I mean, granted, like maybe you just have to, make it more just cinema and just like make it a little bit more, not necessarily bombastic, but I don't know, just maybe give us a little bit more lines, maybe more just delivery.
No, I agree with you. Especially, I agree with you on that battle. I wanted a little bit more from that, because that was the ultimate showdown.
Exactly.
And I would have liked something just a little bit more, whether it was more dialogue. Maybe I thought the buildup was great, where he's shocked that it's him. I thought that was great.
Dude, I thought like
that was a great surprise for us and that character.
That the cinematography, that shot when like you just see like him coming in like silhouette style, and then like you start seeing it's him, and then he's like, "I'll be your Huckleberry," and you like obviously when he says that, the audience knows, and then he turns, he's like, "What the fuck?" And you just see it on his face that even though we've been building up to this confrontation, Ringo knows that he is treading on thin water with Doc, even though he looks like death, because he's got the reputation, and so he's just like, "Oh, my quarrel ain't with you; it's with the other dude."
I was just playing.
I know. I'm just, even though Wyatt Earp is like obviously when he's still very capable too, but it feels like Doc is just a little bit of a step up.
No, I agree. One of the things that I read about this movie, a lot of other people involved with this movie said that Val Kilmer essentially stayed in character. He was very much he seemed to have a method approach to this, like staying in character off camera. I thought he did an excellent job, and I like the ending for this character, because one of the things I also read was that his last words were along the lines of "This is funny." And he's looking at his feet, and
I was wondering what he said.
One of the points that was made about that is like the irony of him. It was an ironic comment, because he died seeing his feet. He died in bed, and for a man that led a very violent life, he could have easily been shot down in the street. And
exactly.
He would have been wearing shoes.
Yeah.
So for him to die in a relative comfort, given the violence of his life, was somewhat ironic, and that's what he was speaking to.
And he still, what happened to his lady though?
I think he ended up sending her off
on that train.
I think he ended up leaving. Well, I think he ended up kind of severing things, because remember that when he sees the doctor, he talks to her after he leaves, saying, we're going to have to redefine our relationship, because that lifestyle with her is killing him. Yeah, and he's not going to have much longer.
She was ride or die though. She was willing to stay by his side through his last moments.
She was enabling. I ain't gonna lie.
Dude, that's why when she says,
"My loving man,"
yeah, I know,
loving man.
Yeah, and then the doctor's telling him like, you need to quit like your lifestyle, the smoking, the drinking. Dude, and then she just lights up a cigarette. Obviously, they don't know about secondhand smoke at this time. But then she just puts it in his mouth, and then she's rubbing his hands down his pants and stuff like that. And then he's just like, "Yeah." Does he say it or she say like, "Oh, maybe you are good for me." But then pauses. He's like, "Or you may be the Antichrist."
Yeah, that was another good line.
But he doesn't stop his habit. He's gonna ride that horse until it falls off. So that's just that's what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I feel like we talked a lot about some of the highs and lows of this movie. I don't have any. Honestly, I really don't have any lows. I think the slow motion, especially when he's battling Wild Bill, Curly Bill, that kind of took me a little bit out of the moment. Even now, and I know that moment is coming. But
about Curly Bill, do you think he actually shot him on purpose? Or do you think he was just too drunk and shot it by accident, and then he was just because it seems like his reaction. The marshal. It was a marshal. Yeah. Do you think he actually did it on purpose? Because obviously he was giving himself up, and the way he did it. But it seemed like his reaction. He looked like he was kind of like, "Oh shit!"
His reaction was like Fred. I think he was I don't think it was deliberate.
Yeah.
Because his response is he's like surprised and shocked. He didn't realize.
Yeah.
I can't believe that it happened. You know, he's like checking on him.
That's how I took it.
So,
I feel like he
don't
did that
think
by
essentially did kill him. But yeah, man. I mean, for me, do you want to pivot to scores?
Well, like, quick question though for
what's
you,
up?
since you talked about what we mentioned earlier on, like, and yeah, your love for the movie and Western movies as well. So, I mean, if you had to give your top 3 of like your favorite Western movies of all time, where would the Tombstone rank? Would it be in your top 3?
My top 3 westerns. I mean, we're just talking about westerns wide open, like
Yeah, however you want it. Whether, like I said, like, because people consider like whether it's a Django or Revenant or Sicario, how it's like a more of a.
Now that we're including that movie in it, because I think for me, it's definitely Django and No Country. Probably No Country for Old Men, then Django, probably, and then after that, it's really between Tombstone and Sicario that I can think of right now.
Man, Sicario, how that movie like ends with the dinner scene.
Yeah, I think Sicario might be a better. But I mean, this movie though, I think I would have to go with Sicario. But for me though, this movie though is just great. Like it's a 4.5 for me.
Ooh.
It's not a 5 because I think some of the other movies I mentioned would be 5s for me. But it's definitely a 4.5 easily. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I mean, man, you got to check out Hell or High Water for sure. Then,
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
I was just saying,
I know
it's
that's
just
what
like, dude, I love that movie, and it's just like it's not an old type of western. It's like a modern day. Like I said, they categorize that a neo type of western, present day. But you definitely should check it out. I think it got nominated too for Best Picture whenever it did come out. But for me, I'm giving it a 3.5.
Okay.
It just, you're insane. But like, I don't know, because
I knew we would differ.
I don't know why I'm comparing to. Maybe it's because they're both Val Kilmer movies. But I think that like I look at Heat, and that's a movie, another older movie where like it gets such high praise, and like I went so long without watching it, and people just kept talking like so highly of it, highly. It's like, you need to watch Heat. Whether it's like my inner circle of friends and people, or it's just like in like the news, social media, whatever. And I came away like watching Heat, and I was like, damn, that shit was fucking awesome. I was just a little bit more disappointed, I should say. I was just expecting like Tombstone to really just be catapulted in maybe like one of my favorite movies of all time. Like maybe
It's like overhyped for you.
a little bit, but it's just like I said, that first half, it does have some highs, but it's just like I was kind of like, all right, where are we going with this? Like, how is this movie getting rated as so high? Because it's like right now I'm just not seeing it. I'm seeing like a solid movie, but I'm not seeing a movie where people was just like, this is fucking awesome. Second half of the movie, like once Virgil, Sam Elliott's character, puts up the law, and the whole town just fucking loses their shit. Especially like you see people doing that nowadays, so it's still modernized. But that second half of the movie definitely picked up a lot. It definitely like ended on like a very high note for me. But it just felt a little bit on the disappointing side, at least that first half. And so like maybe on like rewatch, my 3.5 will rise. But right now, that's where it's sitting at.
There you have it, folks. That's our episode for this week. Stay tuned. We'll hit y'all next week with a new episode.
Peace.